is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Moore. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
It's a Tuesday edition of Talkin Cowboys here from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star in Frisco. And
it's going to be a party.
This is going to be interesting. How about that? It's a new week. It's a bye week. And because of that, it's not the same crew as normal here on Talkin Cowboys. No Isaiah, no Heckma, no Rob. You can catch those guys throughout the rest of the day on various shows. But, man, we've got a treat for you. How about Nick Eatman and Nate Newton on the same podcast with myself, Kyle Yeomans, and
up in this thing at 9:30 in the morning.
Hey,
yeah.
Any idea what Nate Newton is going to be bringing? Let's see. How about the truth?
the truth.
I know what y'all interrupted. I know what y'all interrupted because at 9:30 I usually have a big black coffee, and after that I have a something else. All right, and y'all interrupted that.
Oh well,
I don't know. I really
think
want
he's
to
talking
know
about Wheel of Fortune. I'm sorry.
He's a big make a deal or what is it? Let's make a deal fan.
He's watching the Showcase Showdown or something.
That's what it is.
No.
He's big into tape. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's called his or hers, and I go to his.
Oh, no. All right. Well, Nate's he's awake, and I hope you're awake.
I didn't know there was a time for that. All right.
It was a time for that.
Let's roll.
So, it's Nate Newton, Nick Eatman, and Kyle Yeomans. These two have more combined experience around the Cowboys than I've been on this earth in terms of years. So there's a lot of fun to be had and a lot of knowledge to be shared. And we'll start things off.
Hold on. Let me just clarify there. One guy has actually played like 15 years in the trenches, won Super Bowls and been to 6 Pro Bowls, and the other guy is just sitting there on the sidelines there. Sometimes getting pushed by that guy, but either way, like combining the two, it seems a little bit different. But I get it. I know what you're saying.
I heard there was a story,
but
Nate.
you're a great historian. You're a great historian, though.
Okay, thank you. I'll take that.
Is that good? That's good enough?
Hey, whatever. About the Cowboys.
He knows everything, true. I promise.
That's true.
About the Cowboys, he do.
Well, he does know that also Trayvon Diggs, big news this morning in terms of the Cowboys who just cannot catch a break over the past 24 hours because even when we recorded this show yesterday, Tyler Biadasz news wasn't out just yet. But now Tyler Biadasz out 2 to 3 weeks at the most minimum, really, for Biadasz because of the hamstring injury that he suffered prior to kickoff against the Steelers. And then now Trayvon Diggs, a broken foot, 4 to 6 weeks is reported, but there's a chance he could be out longer.
Yeah, well, you think about it, you got 7 games to go, and of course the bye week, but the 7 games to go, say he's out 6 weeks on a broken foot. I mean, are you bringing him back? Depends on what happens there. Of course, you have the ability now with the injury reserve the way it is, but broken foot, it looked like he was trying to play on that for a little bit. I did get to talk to him after the game, and he made it sound like this is a good time for the bye week, and then we'll see what happens after that. He wasn't in that 4 to 6 week mode, but those young players never really are. So tough setback though.
Nate, whenever you look at this cornerback group and Trayvon Diggs not a part of it, where do you go from here? Because you still don't have Cheeto back. Hopefully he's back for after the bye week, but we've been hopeful for him to come back for a couple of weeks now. But what are you looking at in the secondary now?
My 1 in 15 year reminds me of this. It's like when things go bad for the Cowboys, they go really bad. And you got young guys, getting injured, like Biadasz. I mean, I remember one year, all of us was in that 1 in 15 year, that 3 and 13 year. We all had broken right thumbs. So we had like 4 guys running out there in casts. It's like it was just, it never stopped. It never stopped. But it brought us Troy, Emmett, and Mike. Okay, so maybe all of these injuries will bring you a plethora of first-round picks.
How does everybody have a broken thumb? Yeah. How does everybody have a broken thumb? Would y'all? I mean, was it was there some leg breakers going on? Like did y'all owe money?
Was this intentional?
Like, what's going on? You break people's thumbs?
Nah, I'm serious. My friend. Didn't know what was happening, what went on. And I think I was the last guy of the group to get his thumb sprung or broke. And and it was amazing because even though you may have a sprained thumb or broke, you don't have to cast it. You'll get a little soft cast during the game, but after the game, you just wrap a bandage around, the ace bandage. And back in them days, it was ace bandage. They didn't have all this high-dollar tape. And you go and you walk around with it. It wasn't a big deal, but what I try to tell people, anything that hurts you when you're not a physically gifted team, like this team only has spot players that are physically gifted, and you need every able body to hold you to be just competitive in a game, it's ugly, man.
Well, and also from your experience, can you tell me how an offensive lineman has a hamstring injury in pregame warmups? Because that's another thing that I was very confused about in terms of the Cowboys just not being able to take a break.
Right before we did our pregame show, somebody came to us and said, wow, the big guy Looney is playing because Biotish is not in there. And we didn't know. Right before the kickoff, somebody ran up and said, hey, he has a strained hamstring. And I was like, what, he pulled something, his ribs? Because we as offensive linemen, come on, man, we're not that athletic. And if you look at this kid's body, how can he sprain anything? He's just a big tree trunk. So it happens. And like I say, this is a year where for the Cowboys, freak accidents are happening. We lose our right tackle to a hip. We lose our left tackle to a neck. And things happen. We get our all-pro president knocked out from a blow in the back of the head. I mean, Looney been in and out of the lineup. So it's that type of year, man. I have no answers to that.
I hate it. If we're being real, you look at and there were lists that were put out on Twitter. I think John Machota put out a list where it was just every single guy who's gotten hurt without any specifics on whoever was gotten hurt, and you had to scroll down the tweet.
Right.
You had to actually scroll to see the end of the list. And do you remember a year like this where it's legitimately one after the other, and also in key positions like the Cowboys have had to deal with?
There have been some years when there were a lot of injuries, but what I've said before is that I don't remember a year where so many injuries to the same position. It's the top guy and the backup. It's the left tackle and the right tackle, the quarterback and the backup quarterback, and then cornerback position. Now with Diggs, I mean, it's been Cheeto, it's been Anthony Brown, it's been Diggs. Linebackers, it's been Sean Lee and Leighton Vander Esch.
Yeah.
I mean, so Tristan Hill, Gerald McCoy, defensive tackle. I mean, it's the same positions, and so you're really hurting a team's depth. And when you pay all these high dollar guys like the way the Cowboys have, they don't have a lot of depth, and it's showing this year.
That's a good point, because you look at it. Oh, go for it, Nate.
And then what you have to think in the years going forward, we're going to have to do a better evaluation of our mid-range players. Because a lot of teams, not these many injuries, but a lot of teams have been known to sustain injuries to multiple injuries, but we haven't been able to sustain because our players, our high dollar players, outweigh our low dollar players to such a drastic gap. So it's a big fall off when we go to the second team guy.
Yep, that's a very good point. But where do you start with that? Does that start with draft? Does it start with money?
Draft.
Where do you start free agency? Where is the emphasis going to have to be in order to have some of those mid-range guys?
Well,
it starts in the draft.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Nate.
Go ahead on Nick.
You're right. I mean, you're right about that. It starts in the draft. He is 100% right. But another thing that helps, and every time a team struggles, the fan base wants to fire the coach. Fire the coach, new coach. But they don't understand how new coaches, how that sets everybody back. I mean, this is a new staff. You have to have some continuity. The scouting department needs to understand what the coaches really want, so they can build something together. Build this thing where, hey, there's fifth-round pick. I know our defensive back coach loves this guy. We'll love this guy. Let's draft him, and he'll be perfect in our scheme. You can't keep switching things up all the time. I'm not saying the Cowboys have done that. I'm saying you need to build a staff. You need to build continuity within the organization, and then you can start really plugging in some mid-level guys and go, this sixth-round pick, this fifth-round pick, because I know, what they'll like. So it is the draft, but it is the continuity within the staff.
Nate?
And I tell you, man, and you hear me say it every week, Kyle, how I love the job Coach Philman has done.
Mm-hmm.
People continue to say our offensive line. No. Our offensive line is okay. They got to continue to play. We got Biotish. We know it's more than an adequate backup or a starter. We got Looney. We've had the right tackle. We crush still. But give him a little help, like most teams have to give one of their or two of their offensive linemen help, and we're okay, man. Kellen Moore, with the help of this head coach, is getting better and better at his play calling as we have better and better quarterbacks at backup. This thing can work, but I'm with you 100%, Nick. You will have to keep these coaches for 3 or 4 years so they can get their system in place, because McCarthy has done this before with these guys.
You're starting to see a bit of the turn of the corner. And I think both of you guys are making fantastic points on, one, the injuries up front. And you're talking about it's not just one position. You've got not only have both of your tackles out, but you have your backup left tackle out. And Brandon Knight, he's not even a part of it. And you're talking about putting in Terrence Steele. He's your backup, maybe your backup, your third string right tackle. He's the guy you're having to go with. Sure, there are other options, and you've brought in a bunch of guys. But just because you've brought in a bunch of guys doesn't mean that they're going to perform better than Terrence Steele, and I think that's been the biggest knock on Joe Philbin. But in terms of piecing things together, I think this offensive line has done a better job, and it seems like every single week they're moving along.
Yeah, they are doing that. It's different pieces here and there. I mean, I didn't realize just how steady your right guard would be. I mean, he's an all-pro, there's no doubt. But just him back in the lineup seems to calm everybody down. They've played better with him. Nate can talk about, just how the importance of that. And when he was there, he had some great players next to him as well. But still, just having an experienced guy like Zach Martin seemed that once he returned, everybody's play kind of stepped up a little bit better.
Nate, whenever it comes to go for it.
And that's what I've been trying to tell our guys as a whole for the last 3 years. A true good offensive line coach, you give him 2 good players at any of the 5 positions, and most coaches can make it work. But we saw when Zach Martin left out for a game how bad it was, and when he returned for a game against a better defense, overall, you see how much better it was. So if they get one other piece in there that's a stabilizing force that you can battle one-on-one and don't have to always give help, this offensive line can be better than average, and you can win Super Bowls. And not this team, but you can win Super Bowls because a lot of teams are winning Super Bowls with less than this.
Do they have another one?
They don't. All of them are injured right now. I tell you, like right here, my man has went from giving up 3 or 4 big plays a game. I'm talking about your left guard. He's went from giving up 3 or 4 big plays a game to maybe 1 or maybe 1.5. And then it's not as bad as it normally used to be, where he get pushed back on the quarterback. So our left guard is playing a little bit better. Biotish was playing nice. Mm-hmm. Looney came in. And I'm telling you, because Stephon Truitt had 6 sacks before this game. The Bud Dupree and I hope I'm calling his name right, and Watts, these guys, they had 30 sacks as a team. That didn't happen this week due to the fact that we found what Zeke can do, we found what Tony Pollard can do, and they mixed in enough run, and this kid was savvy enough, and I don't want to call the quarterback's name because I got some depressing news yesterday that the kid ain't going to get another look this year unless Andy Dalton go down. So, I mean, wow. That was nice, man. And granted, Pittsburgh may not was jacked up, but these guys played well enough to give themselves confidence to go into the next game, to prepare better.
Lots of shifting and changing on that offensive line. But you look at the defense, too, and you could say the same kind of thing with the secondary. And like we've said, with having to build Trayvon Diggs with the absence of Cheeto Awuzie and even Anthony Brown for a little bit there. Now Diggs is the one that's out. And Chris Beam earlier, he made a fantastic point before the show. He said, now is the time you start looking at the secondary as to who's going to be playing alongside Diggs in 2020. Because Diggs is going to be there. He's going to be your guy moving forward. Who else is going to be there? Because, of course, Jordan Lewis, Cheeto Awuzie are not long-term guys, at least at the moment here. So now this is a chance to see who else is going to be a part of the secondary heading into next year.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, and Anthony Brown should be here. You know, they did sign him. Donovan Wilson, I think he continues to play well at safety. Really like what you've got with him. Xavier Woods is a free agent. Now, I'm just talking about the secondary. You might have been talking about all of the cornerback position. But you know, there's just question marks all the way around there. You know, I don't see Jordan Lewis coming back. He hasn't really had a good year, and he'll be a free agent. I don't know if Cheeto is going to play the rest of the year. I mean, I don't know. It's been, I call it the hamstring from hell. I mean, I don't know what's happening there. I'm sure his contract is playing into this because, you know, it's been too long. So I don't know the status with him, but I can rest assured he's probably going to hit free agency. I wouldn't imagine him coming back next year. So, yeah, you're going to have to figure it out. It's not going to be Savion Smith. It's not going to be.
Nope.
So, big issues there. And when you guys start doing that draft show, I want to hear about some cornerbacks.
Some corners?
Yeah, I do, because I think that, you know, Jerry said it on the radio this morning that it's silly to talk about quarterback at a high pick, so maybe corner will be where they have to go.
I'll just say this right here. If you're wanting to look for a corner in the draft, it's trade down city. Trade down and get some extra picks.
Oh.
I mean,
I was like, who's that?
No, not trade down. That's not his name. No,
sounds
trade
like
down. Yeah, no, trading down from the pick that you're at least where we're sitting right now, which would be the third overall pick.
Like, this kid done went back to the XFL.
Yeah. I was like, we have Trayvon Diggs and Trade Down City. Like, it seems like a good player.
Oh, he's a JV kid as a sophomore. Nate, rather, would you look at this secondary as a unit that needs to see an injection of talent, at least moving forward, or is it really cut and dry on that? You've got to get some guys this offseason to help out what Trayvon Diggs and Anthony Brown are taking into next year now?
I just believe this right here. And as much as I love CeeDee Lamb and I've loved the draft picks that we've gotten, I've been screaming for years and years and years, sooner or later, this team going to fall apart on defense, and you're going to have a fire sale to get players in here. And this is what's scary because we talked earlier about how do we do it? Do we have the money? We don't know what the cap is next year. So the premium players are going to be gone, and even the middle-range kids are going to be gone in free agency. So this is a year for our scouts. If they're going to shine defensively, this is a year. I mean, let's not play any games. Our offensive line is okay, and y'all may say it's not, but I say it is. And our offense is good. We don't have to touch nothing on offense this year. Nothing. We just go all out defense, free agency, and with the draft. If we have 7 picks, 6.5 of them should be defensive players.
Hey, Carolina did it last year where every single one of their picks were defensive players. So, I mean, hey, it's been done before, but you think the same thing?
Because if we can get another D lineman, let's see how Gallimore played this week, how Tank played this week. And they didn't have any sacks, but they was pressuring the quarterback and they stopped the run. If we can get those type of performances from guys up front and get 1 or 2 more sacks, and Gregory will only get better if he can keep his demons behind him. Now we go out and we draft a stud defensive lineman to come in and give us that type pressure. I'm not worried about the back end. Because I think Coach Harris and those guys will scheme it up as long as you have guys that are willing and able and know what they can and cannot do. Early in the year, guys were trying to disguise things and didn't have the athletic ability to do that. But now, here we go. Let's rock and roll, man. Get a guy up front that can be a difference maker.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I agree with that. Defensive tackle, defensive line. You start there. I've always believed it's the chicken and egg theory. No, I don't believe that. I believe it's defensive line. You give me a great defensive line, those cornerbacks and safeties start looking a lot better. So I'm with you on the priority there. Now, I do think you got to get the players on the secondary, and you're going to have to draft those. I don't think you can get a free agent really. You might get a veteran journeyman or whatever, but we've seen how taking a chance on free agency has played out this year. It hasn't worked out for the Cowboys so much, so it's going to have to be through the draft. But this is going to be a big overhaul there in the secondary.
Yeah, it wasn't really a good year for the pro scouting department. College scouting department did a really nice job, but at least the pro scouting with some of these veteran additions just didn't work out. Didn't work out, and that happens sometimes. It happens.
But you couldn't look at guys. Understand this right
point.
here. We would have knew in OTAs or the second mini camp, man, Clint Dix ain't working out. We would have knew. You get what I'm saying? If they could have touched some of these guys, and this every team is struggling with this, with injuries and with guys. They're like, wow, man, what happened from last year to Clinton Dix was a starter. Granted, he was just a stand-in starter, but he went from stand-in starter to nothing. Dontario Pope, I mean, they say he homeless, is hanging out in front of Dunkin' Donuts somewhere.
Okay. That's a good way to put it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one way to say it, but I like it. Yeah.
From the guy that actually
I normally don't. I normally don't hit players in the mouth. I normally don't do that. It's hard for me to hit players in the mouth. But you couldn't beat me bragging on Dontario this past off season. Every time I was on the air, I bragged on Dontario, and that's the first time I ever been just truly disappointed.
Yeah. Well, you weren't alone. I think all of us saw that signing as a good signing, especially from what we had heard with the Mike Nolan defense and the scheme that he was going to put out there. We thought, hey, this is a guy that's going to fit well, and he's going to come out and he's going to play hard. Coming off an injury may take a little bit, but it took a lot longer than a little bit to get adjusted, and ultimately he didn't work out. But I think there's a lot of things you can look back on and question whenever it comes to this past offseason, but they hit on the draft, and of course, like you said, Jerry Jones today saying Dak is our quarterback. Stephen Jones echoed that yesterday, saying that he's our quarterback, but who's our quarterback going into the next week? Following the bye week, it's either going to be Andy Dalton or Garrett Gilbert. It seems like it's going to be Andy Dalton, but I've got a controversy here when we come back here on Talkin' Cowboys.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys, and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please?
Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Second segment here of Talking Cowboys bi-week edition with Nick Eatman and the great Nate Newton. Nate got his Dunkin' Donuts. You got your Dunkin' Donuts over there, buddy? No?
Yeah, I do have a few extra Dunkin' Donuts, but I'm binging the coffee, man. Binging the coffee, man.
We woke Nate up a little bit earlier than what he's used to, I guess, whenever you've got your Hanging with the Boys show a little bit later on. Now, before we get into this second segment, do want to remind you the 2020 PBR Unleash the Beast World Finals will be at AT&T Stadium this Thursday through Sunday. Don't miss a second of the action. Get your tickets now at PBR.com or SeatGeek.com. I heard you're a really big PBR fan, Nick.
Yeah, it just depends. If it's cold and it's a hot day, yeah, I'll definitely do some PBR for sure.
Big fan of PBR. Nate,
is that what you're talking about? You're talking about,
bull riding?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like Paps.
What is Paps?
Oh, God.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay. Kyle. Okay. Paps Blue Ribbon?
Oh, okay. I was not thinking about that.
Kyle.
No, not PBR. No. Okay. I know what you're talking about now. Now, Nate, are you a big rodeo guy?
I will go see it, man. That bull riding is something special, man. And I tell you what, man. If you ever just go out into somebody's pasture that's got a couple of bulls and they're out there just wandering around with the young ladies, well, you can get some hell of a fights out there, bro, for dominance out there. I'm just saying.
I feel like there's a story behind this.
Oh, there's definitely a story.
Nah, I'm not going deep. I'm not going deep.
I don't know if it's
what I'm trying to say is bulls are. I've seen a bull lift up another almost 4,000 or 5,000 pound other bull with his head and just toss him, bro, because it was fighting over a young female, and I'm like, wow, and I had never seen that before. It literally shook the ground, and so that just that's neither here nor there.
So Kyle, you don't understand all that. See, that was probably before the internet, when that was the entertainment we had. But now people have phones and stuff like that. You do other
You've
things.
got Twitter and Instagram that you can.
But back
YouTube.
then, you just watch
go out there and
fight.
One-on-one bullfighting. Pull that up on Twitter. You'll be amazed. A bull can move a 2,500 truck. I'm serious, man. Bulls are strong, is all I'm saying.
Well, sign them to the offensive line.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Can we get one?
And so to get on the back of a bull, something got to be wrong with you. That's all I'm saying. Something got to be wrong with you.
That makes sense.
With the offensive lines that Nate has been on, that's high praise from seeing what he's seen over the years on the football field.
Yeah.
But I teased this going into the break, and speaking of quarterbacks, and we mentioned Dak Prescott is the quarterback of the future. Both Stephen Jones said that yesterday and Jerry Jones today on The Fan, saying that even with a very high draft pick, which right now you would be picking at the 3rd overall, that's destined to change. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. But he still said Dak Prescott's your quarterback. But I'm curious, as the decision moving into Week 11 against Minnesota, the decision is to stick with Andy Dalton and not Garrett Gilbert. Nate alluded to this a little bit earlier, saying that he was a bit disappointed to hear that Gilbert doesn't get a shot a second time after how well he played on Sunday. I want to hear your opinion first, Nick, and then Nate, I want to hear why you're disappointed. But do you think this is the right decision?
I do. I think Andy Dalton's a better quarterback. He's proven that now until he proves otherwise. But I mean, he's proven over his career that he's been in the Pro Bowl. He's been keep him upright, keep him healthy, and he's proven to be a better quarterback than a guy that's played one game. However, I mean, if it doesn't work out, if he doesn't give that team a spark. Now, I don't know if Gilbert gave the team a spark or the atmosphere or playing an undefeated team helped everybody, but I think that I'm giving Andy Dalton another chance. But if it doesn't work out, if we see more Arizona games that like we saw a couple weeks ago, then yeah, I would go to it because Gilbert proves he can be ready. But I think Dalton deserves a chance to go back. They signed him for this opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Nate?
In this offense, man, where things got to happen very quick as far as getting the ball out of your hands or being able to run. This kid did it very well just to have played the minimal snaps he played in a NFL game, but he's had other snaps in other leagues. what my issue with this thing is, you got a little momentum. This kid is shown to have a little bit of poise about him. Just let it ride. Let it go. I mean, you're trying to prepare for the future. Now, if Andy Dalton is a part of our future, I am with you, Nick. But if this dude just sit up here and play the rest of the season, 7 games, and then he off to another team, and that cheated my guy Gilbert out of his snaps, I ain't with that. I'm with the youth movement totally, 100%. I am with the youth movement.
You know, and I think that's where the conversation comes in, is this going to be your number 2 quarterback? Is Garrett Gilbert your number 2 quarterback, or is Andy Dalton your number 2 in 2021? Because at this point, it looks like Dalton's the one and done. He's going to go try and find a starting job elsewhere, or he'll move on and do whatever he needs to do in his career. But is Garrett Gilbert a guy that you can keep around and know and feel safe in having as the backup next year, even though he's not necessarily a young guy, but he's younger than Dalton?
See, you're making great points, but I don't think that the Cowboys are entertaining that right now. I think they feel like that they can win the division.
Still going after
That's what I think that they feel like. If they play the way they played, if that is what this team can do, I think they feel like they can turn this thing around. You know, you're a game and a half back, maybe more, but if you can make up a game on Philly, you're going to play them again. So I think that they feel like that this is still in the for the taking, and who is the better quarterback to help them. So you guys are making the outstanding points about the future. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Cowboys are ready for the future. I really don't think that they think that way right now. Maybe they should, but it sounds like they are trying to win this. As news just broke just now, Chido Awuzie, we just talked about. I'm sorry, Nate, I just want to throw this in. Chido Awuzie, we just mentioned him.
Go ahead on.
He's
I'm
activated.
just waiting, bro.
Chido's activated now.
Okay.
So back on the roster
Huge.
now. A little surprise.
We ain't playing this week.
No, I understand, but he's off the he's back on the roster. He couldn't have stayed on IR forever.
No.
You can't do that. So now he's back on the. So that's another sign. Hey, another veteran, get back in here. Let's see what he does. I think they're still trying to win. That's my point.
No, and I think that's what the message needs to be right now. And I don't disagree with you, Nick. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate.
I just don't think they're ready for the future. Nate, though, is. I can hear like he's kind of sighing over here. Like, get after it, Nate.
You can win with this kid. You can win with Gilbert. You can.
Fair. That's fair.
These coaches call a masterful game. Due to some technical issues of guys not understanding that they messed up in the game, a few guys on defense may have cost them a game. And this is what is amazing me, is the fact that you have a spark. Now we go to the sparkless. I don't agree with that. I don't care what you say. Go with the spark.
You're saying Andy Dalton is the spark less because of what you saw against Arizona and what you saw against Washington, correct?
That's right. Washington had a great defense, so I don't hold that against him. Mm-hmm. Arizona has a great scheme, and they played well that day. But this kid was under duress, and he worked and maneuvered in the pocket. It's been a long time since I've seen a quarterback step up, go to his right, throw the ball, step up, go to his left, throw the ball. You know, the last 2 quarterbacks just sit there and held the ball like, hey, there's a blitz. Bam! Come on, man.
Danucci's clock was back. He hadn't changed it
from FCS time.
Yeah, from James Madison. He still think you have 2 days to throw it. But Nate, do you feel like Gilbert, if he does play? We see this a lot with young quarterbacks. They come in, they do well early.
He have an up game and a down game and an up game and a down game. But this guy's a little bit more mature than that.
Well,
you can tell how he dressed at the podium. He looked like Opie.
My point was defensive coordinators. Can they figure them out a little bit more? I'm not totally disagreeing with you. I think he gave you a spark. I just wonder. Okay, give Zimmer 2 weeks for Minnesota, and if Gilbert's the guy, is it going to look different at all? I don't know, but I think Andy Dalton deserves it, but I'm not. He's not head and shoulders above.
So okay, since you said Zim, I didn't bring it up. I didn't want to bring it up, but since you said Zim, I'm think like Zim. Hey man, if we get out our pass rush lanes against Gilbert, he gonna take off and run. We got to be disciplined. Hey, that's Andy Dalton. Man, let loose. We coming with everything we got because this dude ain't moving nowhere. We going to crush him.
See, I don't get that out of Andy Dalton. I've seen him kind of move a little bit. I thought against the Giants game, the game they came back, he made a heck of a throw to Gallup on the sideline because he was rolling that way.
He looked good. He looked good for 5 minutes, but he's had more than 5 minutes.
Okay, well,
this kid here played a whole game. And all it did was it pressed upon
Andy Dalton has played 5 minutes.
The coaches,
but Gilbert's played a whole game.
He's played 560,000 games, and he's a backup for the Dallas Cowboys. This kid has played only one game, and he's a backup for the Dallas Cowboys. They're in the same boat, the same well. It's who's going to be able to walk the waters, and this kid has walked the water just a little bit better.
The time out. We're talking about a guy that played 4 Pro Bowls in his career, and the guy that is the all-time leading passer for the now-defunct AAF. Like, you can't compare the two. Yes, he's had one game. Andy Dalton has had great games, too. Like, how are you going to say that because of one game, and they didn't win?
YOUTHFUL. What does that spell?
Youthful. I heard it effing at you.
I'm with the youth movement.
I didn't hear everything else. I just heard it effing at you. I was like, damn, Nate. No. Youthful.
YOUTHFUL. That's youthful.
Garrett Gilbert's still 20.
And
he's 29.
He's a young 29.
Okay, and what
he hasn't been playing as much.
Did you see this guy come to the podium, man? Like a 12-year-old kid, like somebody's high school teacher, man.
I thought you just said that somebody on Sunday said he had substitute teacher vibes with the white button-down shirt whenever he was on the podium.
I'm telling you, in Washington, I got to tell this story. I told it on the other show, but in Washington, it's pouring down rain. We get there. He's just on the practice squad, but he's there because all practice squad guys go to the games, and he's there. And he tries to get out on the field, and they're saying there's no access to the field right now. You can't get to the field. He's like, well, I'm trying to warm up, and they're like, only players, sir. He's like, I'm a player, and they didn't believe him. They had to get like Bucky to come over. Now the guy's a 6'5".
He's a big guy.
Yeah, I mean Nate's calling him a 12-year-old. Man, if he's that age, man, hey, sign him up. But I'm just saying. He didn't even look like a player to these, Washington security guards or whatever. But he looked like a player in the game. I'll give you that. I mean, he impressed me with some of the runs. He impressed me with the way he was kind of just in the pocket. That throw to Amari Cooper,
really good.
That was an amazing throw. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to argue with you that he's got something. I just think that Andy Dalton, he's played one game there in Arizona that was not good. The Washington thing was such a mess without Zach Martin playing against them in the rain. Mm-hmm. They were terrible. He doesn't remember that, so it doesn't even matter. And then you move forward. I think
Zach Martin don't remember it. You're right. Zach don't remember.
You just threw that in there. Just let
Sometimes that's all you need. Just throw it out there.
Hey, he's got a short memory whenever it comes to that game, at least.
Stop.
Regardless, I think Andy Dalton's going to have a shorter leash, and I'm I'm halfway in between. I really am. I see the reasoning with Andy Dalton, though. I would like to see Garrett Gilbert. I want to see Garrett Gilbert more. I do, just for fun. Just because of where we're at, and I know you got to go try and win the division, and I still think Andy Dalton gives you that best chance. But overall, it's going to be a shorter leash no matter what. Now, we go for it.
I was going to ask Nate. Nate's shaking his head, and yesterday on y'all's show, I heard you guys were saying. I mean, the title of your show is we don't accept moral victories. Was that you, or was that Jesse, or a combination of both?
I don't play. I don't play. Now me and Jesse, we don't play the moral victory. We let other guys do that right there. See, in the real world, if you do your job halfway, everybody say, "Oh, it's okay." But in the world of sports that we play, halfway get you cut.
But
halfway. Moral victories can't be for a player, because if I go out there and say, okay, I played well enough for the moral victory, then all of a sudden they replacing me, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, but we had a moral victory. Come on, man. It don't work in the real world.
But it was a moral victory. And I mean, how are you saying that moral victories aren't important? Because a moral victory is confidence. Because let me ask you this: do you guys feel better?
That's what you making up as you go.
No.
That's what you making up as you go.
But do you think the Cowboys?
When you look up moral victories, please somebody look up moral victories. They say moral victories equals confidence. Come on now, dog.
Does it
moral
not?
Victories just get you cut, get you fired.
8.
How about 8? How about 8 or more 9 moral victories?
No, it's not about accepting that. That's not. There's one thing to say, hey, this is great. As long as we play close, it's fine. That's not the case. What I'm trying to say is you can build off of that. Do you feel better about the Cowboys now than you did 3 days ago? That's all I'm asking. Do you feel better about what you saw?
That has nothing to do with moral.
Yes, it does.
That has to do with what I see as confidence. Confidence is a word that stands alone.
Moral comes from morale.
It don't stand with anything else.
Is your morale better?
Confidence comes from success of doing something.
Okay.
And completing it.
What I'm asking is,
that's where confidence comes.
Do you feel better about the Cowboys? Do you, Kyle? Do you feel better about this team? After what you saw?
I feel better about individual players. I feel better about individual players. The Cowboys as a whole lost. I don't feel good about that. I feel good about individual players. That's why you want Dalton, because you think he makes them a better moral team. I want the other kid because I think they can win with him.
I think they can win with Dalton.
I think it was reversed for Nick. I think he thought the same thing other way around. I think Dalton gave him a chance to win, and Garrett was the moral thing, right?
Well, what I'm trying to say is that you can build off a game like that. I'm not saying you accept
you can.
A close
okay,
loss.
I agree.
I'm not saying. Hold on,
you
Nate.
can build. Yeah.
I'm not saying you
build.
accept.
I understand.
Close
build.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanted to win that game. It hurt when you lost.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say. Okay, Nate, you have kids. I have kids. You've had kids go to school. Let's say one of your kids has been struggling with grades. I mean, just can't pass. He's struggling. Doesn't care. Doesn't do what he needs to do.
He dumb.
But then you start working on him. And he comes back and says, you know what? I got a 77 on a test. Hey, that's better. Improvement. Are we excited about it? No. We need to keep getting better. But if this is where you are,
where we're
let's keep going from that. I'm not going to accept this, but your morale
keep
is better.
Building.
Keep building.
Keep building.
So what I'm saying is a moral victory can help if they
that ain't no moral victory. That ain't no more. No. Keep building on it, because sometimes that's why I say I like certain players. I see certain players, and I like that these certain players are getting better and better. The moral victory comes from like, okay, we played this team pretty good as the Dallas Cowboys, but we lost. It ain't no moral victory, it's a loss. The moral victory is for you guys. And I'm not an English major, so I can't break down moral victories. But I can tell you that they are building on what they've had. They're building on the success. They have seen themselves play better. Now can they put together 2 and 3 quarters? Now can they close out games?
So that sounds like their morale is better.
We're going to agree. We're going to agree to disagree. I
think we actually agree to agree. I think we're agreeing because you just said
agree to disagree.
No, Nate, you're just saying their morale is better.
Because I don't believe in moral victories are for teams.
We are like right
moral
up on the
victories are
edge.
for teams, Nick.
I have never gone more time in this show without going to our second break than just this second. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and wrap things up on Talkin'
and come
Cowboys.
Back from a moral break. We come back from a moral break. All right? Come on, man. Come on.
We're back with a tasty treat that's sweeping airwaves and taste buds. It's new Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda. Let's take a listen.
Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda's here. A new combo that's music to my ears, okay? Let's play. Cream Soda and Dr. Pepper time. Pour it in a glass of ice.
Music to my ears and mouth. New Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda.
A delicious duet.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions, in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please?
Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
If you're under the impression that that argument stopped in the middle of the commercial break, you're wrong, because it just continues on into the second break here on Talkin' Cowboys. I want to remind you, whether you're watching from home or cheering in the stands, Essilor lenses, you'll see every exciting play. Book an appointment at your local Essilor experts and see what Essilor can do for you. See more, do more, Essilor. Wrapping things up here on Talkin' Cowboys. Nate Newton, Nick Eatman, Kyle Yeomans, and what is a bye-week edition. And Nate, moral victories are non-existent for you, but that's fine. We've got that out of the way.
Thank you.
We also have a moral victory this week because you get Cheeto Awuzie back. Do you think this improves the secondary heading into the bye week?
So what you're saying, he can't play?
He can't
play.
Well, he can't play this week, but
if he can play, let's build on getting better. Let's see him build on getting better then. Instead of trying to get a moral victory. I learned how to open my hips and run this week. I got a moral victory.
I mean, Nate, you can keep saying that, but you're actually making your own point. You're actually making my point every time you say it. Every time you keep saying building on it, they built off of that.
I'm telling you the truth, bro. I'm telling you the truth. Ain't no such thing as moral victory. I'm telling you the truth.
Hey,
tomorrow to be me, Kyle Yeoman, and Isaiah Stanback.
I'll be here. I'll be right here.
Quit.
I'll be here. No, I mean, like, you can keep saying all that, but like he keeps making my point for me. If you feel better about the football team then you know what? There's something.
I feel better about certain players. I feel good about the kid Gilbert. Do you feel good about another guy? You won't. Come on, man. I'm not going to get into it.
Do you think the defense played? I don't think the defense played better because of Gilbert. I think defense played better because they played better.
I think Gallimore played better. Yeah. I think D-Love brought a second game, and he brought some people to the party. Leighton Vander Esch looked all right. The 13 plays that Sean Lee got was okay.
Gilbert?
Now, everybody else.
All because of Gilbert, or maybe they just played better? I just think they're going to play better.
No, they played better. Individual players played better. Individual players. I didn't see everybody play better because if we did, we won't be discussing DBs.
Well, guess what, ladies
Everybody's
and gentlemen?
defensive back didn't play better.
We get more of this tomorrow because we are way over time. Chris Beam's got things to do. Isaiah Stanback's in the building. He'll be here for the break
things to do
later on. Yeah, we've got to go record
We know what you got to do, Nate.
Yeah, we know what you've got to do after what you started the show
I'm
with.
finna go get me some gospel songs. I'm finna go get the clock.
You go find some CDs. By the way, everybody send Nate Newton your favorite
CD
CD
Lamb,
spots
baby.
at the DFW. He needs to find some CDs. Not Lamb. No, he
Kirk
needs,
Franklin.
No, maybe some Kirk Franklin. Yeah, hey, how about that? Why not?
I'm a stomp on you, right? Stomp. I'm a stomp on you. Right.
Oh man.
Stomp.
For Chris Beam, for
I love you,
Newton,
Nick.
For Nick Eatman, I'm Kyle Yeomans. That'll do it.
Bye, KY.
We'll be
Bye,
back tomorrow at 9:30.
Bye, KY.
See y'all
Cut
later.
the mic.
KY, bye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!